Welcome to an evening with former America's Cup winning skipper and SailGP CEO Sir Russell Coutts. My name is Conrad Humphreys and I'll be hosting tonight's show. I'd like to hand over to Tudor Evans, leader of Plymouth City Council, to get us underway.
Thank you very much indeed, Conrad. I'm absolutely thrilled that Russell, one of the world's greatest ever sailors, can join us this evening to share with you some exciting details and insight on a forthcoming SailGP Great Britain Grand Prix taking place in Plymouth, Britain's Ocean City, in July the 17th to the 18th, 2021. Plymouth is an iconic sailing venue with a great sailing heritage, and we look to engage and excite people in equal measure for leisure, for entertainment, and for work. It really will be an event not to be missed and will give Plymouth exposure on a global scale and provide a fantastic opportunity for businesses and the local economy to focus on post-pandemic economic recovery. So let's get started. And with great pleasure, welcome Sir Russell, and hand over to you, our wonderful host, SailGP's on-water operations manager and yachtsman of some repute, Conrad Humphreys.
Thank you very much, Tudor. What a wonderful introduction. Now, for many on today's call, they will remember the incredible scenes from the AC World Series event in 2011. For those that are new to SailGP, Russell, can you set the scene? What can people expect?
Well, thank you, Conrad, and thank you, Tudor, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you to the people, especially those from Plymouth that are joining us on this call. So when people think of SailGP, they should think of a high adrenaline racing event rather than perhaps the more traditional image people may have of a sailing event. SailGP is the first of its kind in terms of it being the first professional racing series that's nation versus nation, covered with a very high quality broadcast featuring the world's best athletes, and we race in some of the coolest venues in the world for racing, of course Plymouth being one of those. Our races are raced very close to shore, with each race targeted to be 15 minutes long. We have 3 races per day, and those fit into a 90-minute program that is broadcast and distributed to more than 100 territories worldwide. The format is easy to understand for both sailors and non-sailors, and it's an annual championship on high-tech hydrofoiling boats that go insanely fast. But here's the most important thing about this. The teams race with identical equipment and technology. In other words, they race against each other in equal boats. So we've got this cutting-edge technology, and in actual fact, we have no limits on what enhancements we can apply to these boats, other than the fact that we've got to apply them equally across all teams. So for anyone that saw that event that Conrad referred to in Plymouth in 2011, these SailGP boats are a completely different level, sailing at approximately twice or even 3 times the speed of those boats. We are powered by nature and driven by purpose, and we will race for the future. And our season will open in a few months' time in Bermuda in April 24th and 25th this year. Our championship features 8 global events spanning 2021 and early 2022, racing in iconic locations in 8 different countries, namely, we start off in Bermuda, obviously, Toronto in June, Plymouth in July, Aarhus, Denmark in August, Saint-Tropez in France in September, Cadiz, Spain in October. Then we moved down to Christchurch, New Zealand in January 2022, and finally finish in San Francisco in March of 2022, where the grand final will take place with $1 million winner-take-all final race. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I think as an organisation, SailGP, we at SailGP are really looking forward to the Great Britain SailGP Grand Prix in Plymouth, July 17th and 18th, which will be the third event in our 2021 global calendar. And of course, it's the home event of Sir Ben Ainsley's Great Britain SailGP team.
Sounds incredible. We can't wait. At least I certainly can't wait for the season to kick off. I think we should take a little look at the action, if possible.
Brand new sailing adventure.
1 minute 35. What are you thinking? 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Looks like they're gone. No, the tip of the wing is in the water.
It doesn't get any more extreme than that.
Right behind it, straight over the top of Japan. And he's very close once again. Gravely just getting thrown out of his position there.
Still plenty to play for here. Here we go, boys.
They are coming down here in an absolute beauty of a gust.
Oh, GBR capsized.
It's time to get up and party. Australia is the 2019 SailGP champion.
So SailGP also boasts top-tier broadcasters in more than 100 countries, including being live on Sky Sports in the UK and Ireland, which gives you a great platform to make this about more than just sport, which we're going to come on to. But first of all, why Plymouth? Why did you choose Plymouth in the bid process as an event? What really stood out in their bid?
Well, I think Plymouth is an obvious choice. You know, it's known as the Ocean City, and it's a really fantastic sailing venue. I think we're going to hear from Ben Ainsley later, and you know, he can attest to that. So Plymouth Sound is also, it gives great viewing opportunities for the fans, you know, to watch this amazing high-speed racing up close. It really will be quite a spectacle. And Plymouth shares DNA with SailGP, with obviously a strong focus on marine technology, and it's well aligned with our sustainability objectives. And Plymouth has a strong track record of hosting great events with great atmosphere. And we know, I know firsthand what a fantastic place it is to sail, and how amazing it is for the fans who will be able to view this adrenaline-filled action from the water or from the shore, from the elevated vantage point of Plymouth Hoe.
And what about the core pillars of SailGP, which the business community in Plymouth and the region should be aware of and perhaps engage with?
Our core pillars at SailGP are sustainability, technology, innovation, and entertainment, of course, entertainment. And in terms of sustainability, we are partnering with some of the most amazing companies to showcase ways to achieve a better, cleaner future. For example, our partnership with Tesla showcases a portable or transportable clean energy solution for recharging our batteries. We used to charge our batteries using a diesel generator, but now with our partnership with Tesla, they helped us create a solution whereby we use some solar panels to then charge our power, or Tesla Powerwall, which then charges our batteries overnight. And so it's a clean energy solution for recharging our batteries that we're very proud of, and in that way can say that we're also powered by the sun. Our partnerships with ePropulsion and Evoy showcase the move away from fossil fuel powered vessels. Our partnership with a company called ELG is showcasing solutions for recycling and repurposing our carbon fibre. And our Inspire program is also giving access to our technology to help inspire careers and explain why and showcase examples of what we need to do to achieve our goals to mitigate climate change and turn them into climate positive solutions.
All very important to Plymouth's strategic vision. And there's a lot of interest in the audience, I know, tonight about how SailGP can really foster innovation, particularly in marine technology. Can you talk a little bit about the innovations that SailGP is really driving in our sport?
Yeah, thanks, Conrad. I mean, we're doing a lot to drive change and developing a lot in the technology sphere as a result of that. Many people assume climate change initiatives result in greater inefficiencies and cost. However, the opposite is quite often the case. And as some examples, let's look at our broadcast and race operations as well, two of those examples. In 2019, we used to fly most of our broadcast crew around the world to each event to cover our events. And imagine that, you know, there was I think there was more than 60 people we used to fly around the world. Whereas now we are doing almost the entire production out of our studio in London. So as an example, for an event in New Zealand, the performance data, which I think there's 800 pieces of data come off the boat every, I think it's 10th of a second. The performance data, sound and images from each of our eight race boats, together with the on-water cameras, images from the helicopter, etc., are all sent back to London via the Oracle Cloud, where the images and sound are selected, commentary overlaid, and graphics are applied to produce our broadcast world feed that is then sent back to New Zealand to be broadcast there with only a few seconds time delay. So not only does that dramatically reduce our carbon footprint, but it also saves us a lot of cost. And we also have access to some very cool AI voice recognition technology as a result of our partnership with Acronis. And this is another example, fantastic example of technology at use, where the conversations between the crew on board the race yachts will be translated into the appropriate language, which will allow a much greater understanding of and incredible insights of the tactics and strategies involved in our racing. That AI technology will rapidly get better and better at translating the various languages from different teams, including picking up on their accents, to then translate in the appropriate language to the viewer at home in a format that can be easily understood. So that's incredible technology. And then in terms of our race operations, our race umpires will now operate remotely. And this is something that I think can be applied across a lot of sailing races. We have incredible technology to see the position of each boat to within 25 millimeters. So our umpires are able to view the races on their screens wherever they may reside in the world. And as an example, a head umpire is Australian, and they can instantly review and, if necessary, replay incidents before ruling on an infringement within seconds of it happening. And that decision is then relayed to the race boats and the broadcast team electronically. So all this means that our umpires no longer have to travel to our events. And in future, we'll be looking to expand that philosophy to adopt a system where all of our race operations are potentially conducted remotely. Our turning marks, for example, will not need to be anchored. Their position will be controlled by electric motors that respond to GPS coordinates, making our race operations more cost-effective, more accurate, and better for the environment.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. So we talk about SailGP standing for more than sport and having real purpose. Can you expand on this?
Well, I think we're in some ways we're fortunate because it's pretty obvious that SailGP is powered by nature. And we've now really, as an organisation, made up our minds that we are going to be an organisation that's driven by purpose, making a commitment to a cleaner and more sustainable future, accelerating change, and harnessing the power of all the elements around us, and that includes the sun, the wind, and the water. And because SailGP is uniquely powered by nature, we have we have deeply rooted sustainability principles, and we want to use our global platform to showcase ways that we can accelerate change to a cleaner and more inclusive future, and that includes, the partnerships that I've already spoken about. So we're looking to go beyond best practices, inspire communities, and deliver actions and innovations that advance the adoption of clean energy in the marine industry and beyond. And through innovation and technology partnerships and investments, we're finding new ways and solutions to ensure that our events are 100% powered by nature. And we're already setting a new standard as the first climate positive sport and entertainment property in the world. So I think that's pretty amazing.
Fantastic. You made a long-term commitment to really redefining the sport. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, and particularly the Inspire program?
Yeah, we're really excited about our Inspire program. It's something that I'm deeply passionate about, and have been involved in developing youth sailing and youth activities for many years now. But SailGP is committed to providing a lasting legacy for the youth and the wider community at all the venues in which we sail. So our athletes are obviously, they're our lead showcase in a way, and our athletes will champion diversity and inclusion in sailing. And we will engage with a diverse range of communities in our host cities through our Inspire program, by inspiring employment opportunities for the underprivileged and underrepresented groups through our 3 pillars of the program, namely learning, careers, and racing. And in terms of our own organisation, obviously this is a huge focus, and we are developing what I believe is a very diverse and inclusive organisation to lead this championship.
So we've had quite a few questions over the last few days about how SailGP can inspire young people in Plymouth. I know there are some ambitious targets for the Inspire program. Are there opportunities for Plymouth businesses to really get behind and support these initiatives?
Oh, absolutely. There is. When you look at our Inspire program, we have many facets to it, and as I said, it's something that we're all deeply passionate about. And those areas are learning, careers, racing, in the case of Plymouth, STEMfest, and legacy. So taking a few of those points, for Inspire Learning, we're planning on 3 days of local engagements with schools and community groups in the Plymouth area, working with the Plymouth City Council to identify those local schools. And those schools will be schools and groups that would normally not get these types of opportunities. So they will come into our tech area, which is, it's amazing to see these boats up close, to see the electronics and hydraulics and the technology that's involved with them. They have solid wing sails. People think of sailboats as having these soft, almost canvas sails. We're using hard wings, more like an aircraft, or actually very similar to an aircraft wing. So these young people will come into our tech area, see the inner workings in technology, and learn about sustainability and how technology can support our environment. And then for Inspire Careers, and this is something that's been very successful at our events. We will be working with local colleges, clubs and universities to offer around a dozen candidates work shadow experiences throughout the event. And these include things like working with our world-class composite technicians, our on-water operations team, our media and press, photography and videography, sustainability, of course, and as well as many other aspects that we aim to match candidate interests with those available within SailGP. So following that, we'll work with students on providing references and enhancing their CVs and resumes and updating those. Then there's our Inspire Racing program, where we're working with aspiring sailors from around the UK. We will recruit around 16 candidates who will then race on our hydrofoiling WASP, which is the boat designed for the Inspire program for this particular part of the program. And this is an incredible opportunity for these young sailors, and also adds as an early pillar of our women's program, because we have 50% male and 50% female in this program. And we'll also work with the local Plymouth community to partner and identify, deserving local youth that will also get the opportunity to be on board these performance sailing crafts. So that's a really exciting part of our program. And then STEM Fest, in partnership with the Plymouth City Council, we're looking at theming this year's STEM Fest around Powered by Nature. And we'll provide some SailGP resources to support this great initiative. And this will take place on the Thursday and Friday ahead of the SailGP weekend. The STEM Fest is an annual schools engagement where they have hundreds of local children coming out to take part in various STEM activities. The council are theming this around SailGP, and it includes activities, cardboard boat challenges, etc. So a lot of fun things there. And then in terms of legacy, in partnership with the Plymouth City Council, we've agreed to support a post-event legacy initiative, and we do that in all of the cities that we go to. That will help youth in and around the Plymouth area access sailing after the event has concluded.
Well, okay. So looking ahead, there are now 8 national teams, with the recent addition of the Kiwis, Pete Burling and Blair Tuke, and a USA helm in Jimmy Spittle, who's obviously fresh into the America's Cup final. It's going to be great to have these guys on board racing against the likes of Tom Slingsby, Nathan Outeridge, and of course, our own homegrown Sabine Ainsley. Just who did most of his young sailing just up the road here, of course, in Falmouth. This is, I guess, a real opportunity to showcase the very best in sport. I think we've got a quick video. Let's have a quick look at Sabine just talking about Plymouth.
SailGP is coming to Great Britain. For us as a British team, there's nothing better than racing in front of a home crowd down on Plymouth. It's such an iconic venue in front of Plymouth Hoe for the spectators to watch these amazing F50s and the SailGP leagues. I think back to the London 2012 Olympics, and again, that opportunity in a major sporting event to be able to perform in front of your home crowd, your home supporters. Nothing beats that. I grew up in the West Country, so I actually did a lot of my junior training at Plymouth. It's a wonderful venue, it's a fantastic sailing venue, and having Plymouth Hoe there for the spectators creates a natural amphitheatre for the viewers of this amazing league. I think there's an element of nostalgia for me personally, with having grown up and learned to sail in the West Country, and then all these years later coming back in these incredible F50 foiling multi-hulls, sailing around at 50 knots plus. Given that I started out sailing in an Optimist that you probably struggle to get over 5 knots, that's quite a transition in speed, but it will be a very special moment. See you in Plymouth in the UK on the 17th to 18th of July.
So Russell, what do you think we can expect from the competition this year?
Well, we clearly have the very best sailors in the world competing in this competition. And so we're expecting fierce competition. But as I've said, perhaps most importantly, all sailors are racing with the same high-tech equipment. So really, this is a race between sailing teams, and we'll establish which team is the best at sailing these high-performance foiling boats. So there's really nowhere to hide. And we should see some very close racing, and I would expect quite a lot of passing because these boats are very difficult to sail, and therefore teams will be making some mistakes, and other teams will be taking advantage of that. Our new wing sail technology, which I referred to before, should see us achieving faster speeds than we've ever seen to date. So in the right conditions, we should see 53, perhaps even more knots of boat speed, which will be incredible. That's getting close to 100 kilometers per hour. So we are adopting this modular wing sail technology, which allows us to scale the wing for various conditions. So we can have a smaller wing for stronger winds, which is 18 meters high. Our standard wing is 24 meters, and that's sort of our all-purpose solution. And then we have a 29.5 meter long wing for lighter winds, and that allows racing to continue in a much wider range of conditions, because, as all of you would know, the thing that can compromise outdoor sporting events is the weather. So we're doing as much as we can to ensure that we have compelling racing and that the racing runs on time. So this is really a made-for-TV, highly entertaining event. Short, sharp, and dramatic, with some really interesting personalities leading these teams. We've also developed an award-winning app that will allow spectators at the venue or in their boats or away from their computer or TV in other parts of the country or the world to follow the racing from every angle.
These are phenomenally technical machines, as you've just been describing. Incredibly compelling to watch. The racing can be nail-bitingly close owing to the one design. What could a company expect from a partnership with SailGP for the season?
Well, we're definitely looking for local partners, and it's possible to partner with SailGP on multiple levels. So you can do it via the league, for example, or a team. So you could combine with the British team, or there are, or in fact any of the other teams, or via one of the individual events. So in this case, Plymouth. So across all these, our commercial team would facilitate the development of a bespoke plan, which would provide a high return on investment for the company. And some of the things a company or a brand can avail of is obviously the IP with the mark association with SailGP, the press announcements, the use of the imagery. So we have an extensive video and still photo library that partners could access for their own use. Integration of their product and connection with our purpose. I think that's a key thing in partnering with events, especially these days. We have amazing hospitality experiences via our VIP ticketing, or even the more general ticket access to the event village and on-water experiences. There's, of course, the digital rights and in-broadcast recognition and branding, because we frame the race with graphics and so forth, and we also brand the race course digital on our digital platforms. So there's also the ability to, I think, and this is one of the most important things about a partnership, to give back to the community through the Inspire and community engagement programs. And I think finally, the thing that I think is that most people, coming into this should think about is ultimately the ability to help the city maximize this event and secure a truly global, sporting property. I think that's one of the key assets that people can help with.
So for those in the audience interested, please don't hesitate here to let us know if you'd like to pursue a discussion. Now's the opportunity to put your details in the chat. I suggest we take a quick look at the some of the answers and questions in the chat. I've chosen a couple whilst we've been chatting here, Russell. The first one from the audience: what is SailGP doing to increase the opportunities for women to participate in the SailGP League?
Well, I mean, a lot. That's a brilliant question, and we're very fortunate to have some incredible female athletes in the UK and, in fact, around the globe. And as a league, we've implemented a program to fast track the training and development of female athletes to ultimately be able to really enhance their professional careers in sailing. And I think, quite honestly, there's been a gap in sailing up until now. And I think World Sailing's doing some tremendous work via their Olympic programs and so forth. But we at SailGP are really passionate about this and believe that it needs to happen and it needs to change. And it's certainly our intention to have female athletes immersed across all teams in season 2, and then ultimately to create a real pathway and real solutions for professional sailing in our women's program. So what have we done already? Well, we've already launched an extensive program to fast track the training and development of female athletes for participation in SailGP. And in fact, I think they've selected 6 candidates already in terms of the UK pool. I think there were 60 candidates that applied for that. And in fact, in each of the of SailGP's 8 national teams, we've already selected or are in the process of conducting talent ID camps to engage with female athletes. So from there, 16 women will be selected to participate in SailGP's pre-season training camp in Bermuda, and ultimately at least 1 female athlete per team will eventually be selected to train and be immersed within each of the teams in season 2. And that's really only our starting point. We're going to have a dedicated women's program manager that will oversee this initiative. So as I said, the idea is to really fast track this development.
That's great to hear. So there have been several questions that have come in around sustainability, which is a core pillar of both the league and the teams. Can you just expand on this a little bit more?
Well, as I've already said, we're uniquely powered by nature with deeply rooted sustainability principles, and we want to use our global platform to accelerate change to a cleaner and more inclusive future. So we're looking to go beyond best practices and inspire communities and deliver actions and innovations that advance the adoption of clean energy, both in the marine industry and beyond. And I've already referenced some of those. So through those technology partnerships and investments, we're looking to find new ways and solutions to ensure that our events are 100% powered by nature and setting a new standard as the first climate positive sports and entertainment property.
Lots of questions about inspiring young people, and in particular, how can the city use SailGP to inspire and encourage young people, not perhaps to just get into sailing, but also to perhaps get into racing?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity of of giving these young sailors the chance to race out in front of the crowds in these boats and just experience the event, experience the technology, and really, I guess hopefully get inspired by that to achieve greater things themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've got time for two more questions that I've sort of cherry picked from the chat. One's here from Tim Geary. How can we best support you to make the Plymouth event so good you want to come back every year?
Well, the goal is to come back every year. I think for both parties, we're starting off with 1 year, to try and get try and have the best event we can and get acquainted with each other. But the idea with this global championship is to return to the venues each year on an annual basis. And so I think the best thing to do is to get out there and support the event and enjoy it. That's what we want people to do. We want people to get involved in our volunteer programs and enjoy it. It's going to be great fun. It's going to be a great event. And I think it's going to showcase Plymouth in a way that, in a very unique way.
So Dave Calderwood's asked, can you talk a little bit about the racing? Will we see overtakes down the inside, round the outside?
I think absolutely. The teams this year will be better than ever before. That they are better prepared. We're having a pretty extensive training camp in Bermuda beforehand, and we have the best sailors in the world involved. And I think for some of them there'll be a point to prove. This is an opportunity in equal boats to show who really is the best in terms of sailing. And I'm going to be intrigued. If I was asked to pick a winner at this point, I wouldn't be able to.
You'd say so, Ben.
I think there's a few people on this call that would like that to happen, but I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be very close. I could have, when you look at the personalities, Jimmy Spittle's come into the US team and frankly made no qualms about the fact that he wants to win. He's put essentially a whole new team in place. Rome Kirby's remained from the previous team, but otherwise it's been a complete change. On paper, they look very, very strong. He's extremely committed and serious about doing his preparation in Bermuda. You can tell by the email chains that he really wants to get on with this. I think that's going to be fascinating to watch, as well. The contest between all of them, between Tom Slingsby, he's not going to want to lose. Ben Ainsley, of course, Nathan Outridge, they're all fantastic sailors.
Yeah, well, you've certainly worked with many of them, so you'll know them inside out. We've got just time for a couple more. So if that's okay, there's a question from the local college here asking, we have a large number of students at all levels studying maritime-related subjects such as naval architecture, marine engineering, etc., who would love to be involved in the event in some format. Do these opportunities exist? And if so, how can they get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So you apply through our Inspire program. So if you go onto the website, you can see the details of how to apply. And there's great opportunities to come in and learn about the tech. And we're always looking for bright young engineers and students to join our team, the SailGP technologies. And we've been, very successful with that. So for sure, if you're interested in those fields, then make sure you apply. Regardless, even to tour through the technical facilities and to get to see one of these boats up close and to see the technology involved is a great experience. So, yeah, I would really encourage you to reach out and to get involved.
Now, of course, subject to the pandemic restrictions, what plans are being put in place for corporate hospitality? I know there's a lot of companies on the call today that are going to want to take guests out on the water. They're going to want to be involved watching the action. What can they expect there?
Well, obviously we have, we're living in a COVID world now, and likely will, still be in when we have the Plymouth event. But I'm, very proud of our hospitality program. So we work hard to provide really unique and amazing experiences for our guests. So one of the things that we initiated from the get-go was what we call our guest racer program. So that's where a small group of guests get to follow the F50s up close in a high-speed boat for the 16 minutes of racing. So they have to get dressed up in protective gear, and it's amazing, when you're following the boats and you realise the speeds they're going and how difficult it is to communicate and even move on board, the high-speed boat. You realise what it's like to manoeuvre one of these F50s, where the crew are crossing from side to side in these manoeuvres. It gives you a feeling of that. So that's an incredible experience. That's, of course, reserved for our event partners. So you've got to be a partner to get sort of that level of hospitality. But we also have, fantastic hospitality on shore where, there's great viewing and also great access to the sailors, that you can rub shoulders with some of the sailors after racing or even before racing, ask and answer or get questions answered and so forth, and get a lot of information that you probably wouldn't otherwise be able to get. So lots of great experience. Of course, the on-water experience, a lot of people haven't really been on the water to see something like this. So getting on the water is also another great experience if you can. So, and I'm sure, COVID permitting, there'll be opportunities to do that for the public as well.
Fantastic. And you get a chance to race these F50s. How likely is it that we'll see you out on the water in Plymouth?
No, that was probably, you'd have to move the clock back 20 or 25 years for me to get on board. But I would have loved it for sure. But because I think they're a highly, challenging boat to sail, very technical. You've got to be very precise. There's big differences in performance depending on how you actually sail the boat. And as I said, each of the teams has equal equipment, so there's no advantage with technology. So yeah, they are pretty difficult boats to sail. And when you get 7 other boats, eight boats on the same race course, and you're all ripping along the first leg at 50 knots, it definitely gets the heart rate up and gets the juices flowing, so to speak. So I think it's going to be fascinating racing, really exciting. I'm hoping we get some strong winds in Plymouth, because I think it's an ideal harbour. Last time we were there in 2011, we certainly got that, and it'd be great to see the F50s with the 18-metre wing ripping along at 53 knots. That'd be something else.
Well, people will remember, I'm sure, the capsizes in Plymouth in 2011. They'll remember the sort of whooping and hollering from the shore as these boats, sort of flipped over in front of their eyes. It was some spectacle. Russell, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure everybody here in Plymouth has been enthralled just to hear you take the time out and chat to them. Thanks to everyone who's submitted a question, and we will be responding to those questions over the course of the next 24 hours and sharing some of the answers. I think the final thing to say here is on behalf of all of us, the very best of luck with SailGP Season 2. We look forward to seeing everyone here in Plymouth in July 17th to the 18th in 2021. And it's been great to have you here with us today. So thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you all in the summer. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Conrad. Thanks, everyone.